Picture yourself gliding through the mist of Venice's Grand Canal at dawn, when the water taxis haven't yet started their morning bustle. Would you choose another luxury hotel where tourists snap photos by the hundred, or slip away into a 16th century palazzo where celebrities hide from the world? As your private boat approaches a centuries-old dock, marble steps descending into emerald waters, you realize this isn't just another hotel stay. In today's episode, I'll give you my own one-of-a-kind price tour of the Aman Venice, where Renaissance art becomes your breakfast companion, where secret gardens hide along Europe's most famous waterway, and where every room tells tales of nobility that stretch back half a millennium. When the manager of my favorite Swiss watch boutique first mentioned Aman Venice, I was quite incredulous, I must say. Not because of the price tag, after all, what's a few €1,000 between friends, but because he suggested there might be a hotel that could actually surprise someone who's seen it all. Nestled along Venice's iconic Grand Canal, the Aman Venice doesn't just occupy a building. It inhabits a 16th century palazzo that makes other historic hotels look like they were built last Tuesday. The Palazzo Papadopoli, as it was known before its 2013 transformation into a hotel, stands as a testament to the fact that sometimes the best things in life aren't free. They're actually quite expensive. Let's start with the arrival experience, because in Venice, even getting to your hotel is a theatrical production. Forget about mundane car transfers. Here, you'll arrive by water taxi, gliding up to the private dock like a modern-day doge. The transfer alone costs €310, though one suspects the typical guest spends more than that on room service. The moment you step through those historic doors, you're not just checking into a hotel, you're entering a world where every ceiling tells a story, and every story involves someone important doing something terribly expensive. The lobby, with its soaring ceilings and pristine white statuary, sets the tone for what's to come. Absolute, unapologetic luxury. Speaking of luxury, the hotel offers 24 rooms across 5 floors, though calling them rooms feels like calling the Sistine Chapel a painted ceiling. Each space has been meticulously restored to preserve its historic character, while somehow managing to slip in modern amenities that even the most demanding guest, and trust me, I've been that guest, would appreciate. The genius of Aman Venice lies in how it balances its historic soul with contemporary comfort. The frescoes and chandeliers aren't museum pieces, they're your breakfast companions. The marble fireplaces aren't just for show, though one suspects they haven't had to actually heat anything since electricity was invented. 2 private gardens, a rarity in Venice, offer spaces where guests can pretend they're 16th century aristocrats, just with better Wi-Fi. These green havens along the Grand Canal provide the perfect setting for morning coffee or evening aperitivos, assuming you can tear yourself away from your suite's antique-filled interior. George Clooney chose this very palazzo for his wedding night, though I imagine he didn't have to worry about checking the room rates first. When a hotel is good enough for Hollywood royalty getting married in Italy, you know it's doing something right. Yet for all its grandeur and celebrity connections, what truly sets Aman Venice apart isn't just its impeccable service or historic architecture. It's how it makes even the most seasoned luxury traveler feel like they're discovering something extraordinary for the first time. And while the hotel's public spaces might steal your breath, it's the rooms themselves that will steal your heart. Though that's a story best saved for our next chapter. My collection of luxury hotel keycards grows more impressive each year, but the one that unlocked room 25 at Aman Venice carried the weight of centuries. The accommodations here span a spectrum of styles, from contemporary minimalist rooms to historical masterpieces. While the entry-level palazzo bedrooms start at a mere €1,400 per night in low season, the Canal View suites command upwards of €2,000, even in winter's quieter months. the crown jewel among these chambers, and trust me, I've stayed in enough presidential suites to know, is the Tiepolo suite, named after Giovanni Tiepolo, the 18th century artist whose work adorns its ceilings. One glance upward, and suddenly that four-figure nightly rate starts to make perfect sense. Walking into the Tiepolo suite feels like stepping into a private wing of the Louvre, if the Louvre offered turn-down service and Bang & Olufsen audio systems. The living room, often called the Chinese room due to its Eastern-influenced wall decorations, houses bookshelves in each corner and a marble fireplace that predates most countries' constitutions. Every fixture tells a story, every door conceals a secret. The suite spans 1,000 square feet, though in a 16th century palazzo, such measurements feel almost irrelevant. The soaring ceilings, a luxury that my personal architect assures me is impossible to replicate in modern construction, create an atmosphere of palatial grandeur. The bedroom itself rests beneath museum-worthy frescoes, while the floors showcase an intricate pattern of different stones and textures. Even the modern amenities, the television, lighting controls, and climate systems, have been integrated with surgical precision, never overshadowing the room's historical soul. The bathroom, hidden behind a secret door, much like the minibar, reveals a rainfall shower with surprisingly excellent water pressure, a feat that anyone who's stayed in historic European properties will appreciate. Though I would bet the original Palazzo residents never enjoyed the luxury of perfectly temperature-controlled water or handcrafted bathroom amenities. For those seeking a more contemporary aesthetic, the hotel offers sleeker, more modern rooms. These spaces trade ornate frescoes for clean lines and subtle sophistication, perfect for guests whose personal art collections at home already include enough Renaissance masterpieces. Storage comes in the form of 3 closets, each fitted with the kind of practical luxury that suggests the hotel's designers understood their guests might arrive with enough luggage to warrant their own water taxi. The amenities extend to thoughtful touches like bamboo toothbrushes and wooden accessories, nodding to environmental consciousness without sacrificing an ounce of luxury. But perhaps the true measure of these accommodations lies in their ability to make the extraordinary feel like home. When you can wake up beneath centuries-old artwork, sip espresso from Schönhuber Franchi cups, and find your morning paper perfectly pressed, you begin to understand why travelers with means choose the Aman Venice as their Venetian pied-à-terre. Speaking of mornings, the real magic happens when sunlight streams through those historic windows, transforming even a simple breakfast into a theatrical production. But that particular pleasure deserves its own chapter. The Aman Venice houses its signature restaurant, Ava, in what might be the most beautiful dining room in Europe. If calling it a dining room weren't such a tragic undersell of its grandeur. Beneath spectacular frescoes and chandeliers that make most royal palaces look understated, guests dine in what was once the palazzo's ballroom. The space artfully balances its museum-worthy ceiling with the practical demands of serving Michelin-star cuisine, though I've rarely worried about dropping crumbs onto priceless antiquities during breakfast. The culinary journey begins each morning with an à la carte breakfast included in the room rate. Fresh pastries, croissants, danishes, and muffins arrive alongside 3 types of butter, presumably because deciding between salted and unsalted feels a bit pedestrian in such surroundings. The eggs. Benedict comes with a side of Grand Canal, views that make you forget about counting calories or checking emails. Lunch brings an array of light Italian classics, burrata with tomatoes that taste like they were harvested by Renaissance artists, and dishes that showcase the bounty of the nearby Rialto market. The kitchen's philosophy, reflected in the restaurant's name Arva, Latin for cultivated land, focuses on celebrating local ingredients. Dinner presents a more formal affair, with dishes like the frittura di pesce veneziana at €38 and linguine with lobster and tarragon pesto commanding €60. The beef fillet with baby spinach and perigordine sauce, priced at €65, reminds you that luxury can be found on the plate as well as the ceiling. Complementing the cuisine, the wine list reads like a carefully curated tour of Italy's finest vintages. My personal sommelier back home would appreciate their selection, particularly during sunset, when the canal-facing windows transform the dining room into a golden-hued sanctuary. The bar, open from noon until midnight, offers a space where the weight of history feels slightly lighter. Here, under more frescoes, because apparently Venice never ran out of artists, guests can sip cocktails and pretend they're part of the city's long tradition of sophisticated revelry. For those seeking a more intimate dining experience, the hotel offers the Guarana room for private functions. Between us, I've hosted enough private dinners to know that sometimes the most impressive power moves happen in the smallest rooms. The garden dining area provides yet another option, where tables arranged thoughtfully among the greenery offer a rare commodity in Venice: the chance to dine surrounded by nature while still gazing at the Grand Canal. It's the kind of setting that makes even a simple espresso feel like a cinematic moment. But what truly elevates the dining experience isn't just the food or the spectacular setting. It's the seamless service that anticipates needs before they arise. The staff moves with the kind of practiced grace that makes orchestrating breakfast for demanding guests look like a simple ballet. Of course, maintaining this level of culinary excellence comes with its own particular challenges, especially in a historic palazzo where every renovation requires approval from several Italian ministries and possibly a few saints. But those operational feats deserve their own chapter. The third floor of Aman Venice may well be the most relaxing level of any palace in history, trading Renaissance grandeur for modern serenity in its dedicated spa floor. In a building where every inch drips with history, finding 3 perfectly serene treatment rooms feels like discovering a secret garden. The Spa Boutique displays an array of Aman Essentials products that probably cost more than the original Palazzo's annual maintenance budget. My investment portfolio includes less expensive acquisitions. The 4th floor reveals itself as a playground for those who find standard hotel lounges a bit too common. Here, the salon, banquet hall, library, and game room create an atmosphere that makes you question whether you're in a hotel or the private residence of a particularly successful Renaissance merchant. In the library, leather-bound books line shelves with the kind of careful curation that suggests someone actually reads them. Art, design, and travel tomes share space with a chess set that's likely witnessed more strategic moves than most corporate boardrooms. The table legs, carved as stone statues, support more than just the playing surface. They hold centuries of Venetian craftsmanship. The gym, while modest in size, offers techno-gym equipment that lets you maintain your fitness routine while contemplating frescoes. Balance balls and yoga mats provide options for those who prefer their exercise with a side of historical ambience. Though I must admit, running on a treadmill beneath priceless artwork adds an interesting dimension to one's morning cardio. For those who prefer their exercise with a view, the 5th floor roof terrace provides a panoramic vista of Venice's skyline. While you can't see the canals from this vantage point, the city spreads out before you like a living museum, its terracotta roofs telling stories of centuries past. The hotel's boutique on the 1st floor serves as a reminder that luxury knows no bounds. 6 glasses will set you back €2,808. Even a single mug commands €710, making your morning coffee an investment strategy rather than a beverage choice. Each floor connects via a historic staircase that probably deserves its own wing in an architecture museum. The white marble steps have likely carried more influential footsteps than most government buildings, though now they share duties with a discreetly placed elevator for those moments when climbing through history feels a bit too strenuous. Even the passages between spaces tell stories, their walls lined with photographs documenting the palazzo's journey through time. A 1926 dinner menu on display suggests that inflation hasn't been kind to the culinary arts, though the pursuit of excellence remains unchanged. Perhaps most remarkably, the hotel manages to maintain this level of refinement while making it feel effortless. Every USB port and power outlet hides discreetly behind historical facades. Each modern necessity integrates so seamlessly that you almost forget you're living in a carefully preserved piece of history. But the true measure of any great hotel lies not only in its amenities or its architecture, but in the hand-picked location makes it all work together. And that's where our final chapter takes us. And lastly, finding the perfect location in Venice is like selecting the right vintage for a royal wedding. It's all about understanding the subtle notes that make something truly exceptional. And the Aman Venice, tucked into the San Polo district, might just have secured the finest plot in La Serenissima. San Polo, the city's smallest district, offers something my real estate portfolio rarely finds: authenticity wrapped in luxury. While other areas of Venice heave with tourists clutching maps and selfie sticks, this ancient neighborhood maintains its dignity with the kind of quiet confidence that money can't buy. A 5-minute stroll past my favorite artisanal mask maker brings you to the iconic Rialto Bridge. From there, the Rialto markets unfold like a scene from a Canaletto painting, their stalls bursting with produce and seafood so fresh it practically leaps onto the local chefs' prep stations. The district reveals its treasures like a well-curated museum. The Scuola Grande di San Rocco houses over 60 Tintoretto masterpieces that would make any serious collector's heart race. Meanwhile, the Basilica dei Frari stands guard over Titian's final resting place, a reminder that true greatness never really leaves Venice. Campo San Polo, the district's main square and Venice's second largest after Piazza San Marco, offers a glimpse into authentic Venetian life. Here, local children play after school while their parents exchange gossip by the well, a scene unchanged for centuries, save perhaps for the addition of gelato and smartphones. The neighborhood's Baccari, local bars serving cicchetti, Venice's answer to tapas, provide the kind of authentic culinary experience that makes even the most jaded food critic smile. Though I must admit, explaining to my personal chef why I've developed a sudden craving for these simple delicacies has been rather amusing. For those interested in Venice's more colorful history, the Ponte del Tet offers an eyebrow-raising glimpse into the city's past, while the Church of San Giacomo di Rialto's 15th-century clock reminds visitors that in Venice, even time itself moves with a certain historical gravitas. The location's true genius reveals itself in how it positions guests at the heart of Venice's artisanal tradition. Watch master glassblowers at work, observe the careful craft of mask making, or simply wander the labyrinthine streets where every turn reveals another workshop preserving centuries-old techniques. In a city where location means everything, the Aman Venice has managed to secure what might be the perfect address, close enough to everything that matters, yet far enough from the crowds to maintain its air of exclusivity. Though between us, I'm beginning to suspect my tendency to get lost in these enchanting streets might have less to do with Venice's notorious layout and more to do with not wanting to leave. And now, I'd love to see you in the comments. Have you been to Venice before? And if you have, where did you stay? I can't wait to hear from you below, and thanks for coming to another episode of So Luxury Travel. Ta-ta, until the next one.